Swim! Swim!
Come farò senza di te? Come sarà la vita ora? Tutto il tempo.
Hello, my brave knights, princesses, and princesses, and other friends, and today we're going to be reviewing Martha is Dead.
Why did you say that name?
Whoa, Batman, whoa, easy, big fella. I don't mean your Martha. I mean Martha, you know, Martha, not your mother Martha, but a different Martha, that Martha, you know, that Martha, Julia's mother Martha. You know the one I mean? Yeah, I know, it's confusing. So we are talking about Martha's Missing. I have to warn you, as the warning label showed at the beginning of this video, and I'm going to warn you personally, this game is not, for the faint of heart, it's not a game meant for people with anxieties toward what, or sensitivities toward what happens in this game. This game takes place in World War II. The mother of the protagonist, the father of the protagonist is a German general, I believe. So keep that in mind as we talk about this game. And right off the bat, I wanted to say that if I thought that Vertigo was hard to play through, Vertigo is training wheels compared to this game. So for the story, and it's quite the gut punch, it's a pill and a half to swallow. You play Julia, the sister of Martha. The game begins with you taking pictures, or about to take pictures of the lake. It's your favorite lake. You and your sister would swim in it and play around it all your life. It's your favorite place to go. And you find a body in the water. And that body turns out to be your sister, Martha. And in a split-second moment, you decide to take the place of Martha because she can't speak and she can't hear. So if you find that familiar to Vertigo, it's called Vertigo. I basically compared this game to Vertigo. I would say that the differences between Vertigo and this game is that it's not an outsider person that tries to ruin one guy's life. It is all this game happens with just this family and a few people on the outside. But yes, you play Julia. And at first, what you're trying to do is you're trying to pretend to be Martha, because there's favoritism in this house between Martha and her mother. Whereas your father loved you more, your mother loved Martha more, so you basically take her place because it was the only way you could survive, apparently. This game does something that Vertigo did also. It tells you what you want to hear, or you supposedly want to hear. The funny thing about me is I had my suspicions right off the bat. I was very suspicious right off the bat, and it was because I get skeptical. I've been trained well by hidden object games to be extremely skeptical of everything that I see in hidden object games, and I was very skeptical in this game because while I was going along with what was being told to me, I was like, is that really the truth? Are you sure about that? I get that there are certain things that happen that make sense to Julia's claims, but at the same time, there were a few things that concerned me and confused me a little bit. Julia, over the next few days, pretends to be Martha. She basically has to watch her parents prepare for her sister's funeral. There's also a boy named Lapo who is part of the opposition group, I guess you could say, the group that's against, freedom fighters, basically. And he dies, to put it bluntly. We find him, and then we get shot too, and we end up surviving, of course, because, to put simply, we survive everything. I got lost a lot in this game, because the map in this game, it does point you where you're supposed to go sometimes, but not all the time. It expects you to know where everything is at a certain point. I didn't know where certain things were that were obvious where they were. And this game also drops a choice on you eventually. What you choose to do in that situation doesn't really matter in the end, just saying. So I didn't do anything. I was like, because either way, it doesn't matter what you choose, but you're gonna, because it ends the same way. And you'll find out why if you play this game. But again, I must warn you, this game isn't pleasant. And the Lady of the Lake doesn't know what's going on either. Or maybe she does know the answer, but she won't tell us because we have to find out for ourselves, which makes sense. And then you end up getting Martha's key, and you find out that Martha was originally able to speak, but because of something that happened in her childhood, that being what happens to Julia or Martha, we don't know which one, because they're twins. And that's the other big thing, is that you have to sit there and wonder who is really who throughout this game. And that's something else they kind of play to your brain, is were there really twins? Which there are. But who really died is the question. Sorry that I'm cutting in now while we're into this video, but I forgot to mention that if there's one flaw to this game, is that it gives away one of its big twists near the part of the way into the game, where the game shows you that Martha was with child, while later you find a letter that basically tells you that she was with child. It was Lapo's child, basically. And that's the only flaw I found in this game. Everything else is pretty solid. But yeah, they give it away, which I thought was kind of strange that they would do that. So to sum up, in the end, because there's a lot to unpack, in the end, you end up surviving. Not just the war, not just everything else that happens to you. You end up going to the same asylum, the same asylum that's in Town of Light. You survive, basically trying to unalive yourself there. I'm not going to say what happened because it's not pleasant to watch. The moments in this game that bothered me and horrified me were when I had to cut a certain person open. Yeah, I felt a little bit ill during that. Or when I had to bury a certain person's mutilated body. That wasn't fun. Also, this game was censored. And I get why. But at the same time, why? My argument towards censoring a game is that how are you going to appreciate a game and the experiences of what the game is trying to tell you and put you through unless you go through them yourself? Vertigo wasn't comfortable to play through either. But it was kind of the same with Martha is Dead, where I kept pushing myself to keep going, even though there were times I was asking why, or why would you do this, or why are you doing this, or how could you come to this conclusion? There are things that Julia does that where she just leaves these little breadcrumbs behind, these little pieces of evidence. Now, in the end, it doesn't matter, but if someone were investigating this, it would be obvious after a while that something's going on with her, which something was. Because again, the things are not what they seem in this game, and that's the beauty of this game. There's probably a lot more that I missed to talk about, but it just means you need to go and play the game for yourself. I'll leave the game in the description below. You can go ahead and play it. Just brace yourself for what happens in this game, because it's not comfortable. It's a great, awesome game. It is an awesome game, but it's also very uncomfortable. Leave a like and subscribe as always for more next video. Ta.